What's your breakdown of Poirier versus Conor now that he just got beat and he seems like he's motivated and he really does want to beat Poirier this time? Do you see anything changing because that fast and this quick since that last fight? Do you think that he has a chance to beat Poirier, or do you think we're just going to see the same thing again?
No, absolutely, he's got a chance to beat Poirier.
I think it is too.
I would pick him to beat. If he'd have beat Poirier the second time, I'd pick Poirier to win the third time because McGregor wouldn't be as interested. But because he's coming off a loss, I think he's more motivated and he's more likely to win the next one around. I think he took Poirier a little lightly because he stopped him so early the first time around. And I don't think he credited Poirier with being a different animal or at least being as, obviously he's got, great coaches in his corner, like Mike Brown. I don't think he credited Poirier with his adaptability to be able to find a way to beat McGregor. So he just went back to I'll just counterpunch with my left. I'll come over his jab and catch him with my left. Because that seemed to be the only in the main game plan, which is what left his lead leg vulnerable. And then you go back to the first fight, and the first, 30 seconds or so, he's doing the long karate stance. He's got a hop side kick and a spinning kick. I think he goes back to that version. I think we see him lighter on his feet. We see him much more of a mixed martial artist instead of a counterpuncher. And I think he's going to be able to cut the octagon down against Poirier with that hop side kick, slide it into his left hand. There are a lot of techniques that he just neglected. And what was weird is after their second fight, it was almost like people were like, well, that's who McGregor is now.
Right.
It's like he doesn't know the kicks anymore. He like somehow he'd forgotten all of that. It's like it's still there.
Yeah.
He just chose not to use it.
Yeah.
Like he chose to be a heavy front foot counter puncher because he expected to stop him in the first minute. And I think he just underestimated Poirier. And I think this time around he'll be on his game. He'll be fighting at range. He'll use his kicking. But I also think we'll see more grappling out of McGregor. And that's always something that's been underestimated.
Yeah.
You even go back and watch what he did to Max Holloway with a knee injury, took him down 3 times, 3 different takedowns. He's got very good grappling skills. And I think we might see the two ends of his game this time instead of just the boxing in the middle.
So overall, you think that you're giving the edge to Conor in this next one?
Yeah, I think so. Because, I think Poirier's been very much the same fighter all the way through his career. He's refined his game and he's become more effective with it. He's better at applying it instead of just being, as aggressive as he. Was it Grisby fought his last fight in WEC? But it was like 60 seconds and it was just one long punching combination. Yeah. Like nothing else happened aside from Poirier just wading forward with hooks.
Yeah.
Like we still see that guy, but we just see it in bursts now.
Yeah.
Like we see it in the 4th round against Gaethje, and you know what I mean. It's like he applies it when he needs to. It's far more intelligent, but I feel like there's more depth to McGregor's game, and he's able to draw on more skills. It's just a case of applying them on the night, and that's where Poirier had him beat. I think it's a very competitive third fight. I'm very interested to see it, and I think I'm leaning towards McGregor slightly, but that's not in any way to devalue Poirier and his chances because he is an excellent fighter. There's no doubt.
Yeah, great breakdown, and I think that also we can. I feel very confident in saying that I think Conor getting knocked out is going to have no negative effects. I just don't think he's the type of guy. Whether it was an issue with Cody or not in this fight and what had happened in the past for him, I don't see Conor ever being that type of guy that can get knocked out and it affect him. He shows up to fight every single time as an aggressive killer, that goes after his opponent every single time, whether he loses, whether he doesn't, whether he gets knocked out. So I think that won't be an issue. I don't think we're going to see a different, intimidated Conor or anything like that.
No, not at all. And this is where the business mindset of Conor McGregor comes in, because he doesn't look at MMA like it's everything. It's a sport, and he knows it's a sport. It's a game to be played, And then on the flip side, you've got Cody Garbrandt when he's going in there against TJ Dillashaw. This is life and death.
Yeah.
Like even when McGregor fought Khabib, people thought there was genuine animosity on McGregor's side. There absolutely wasn't.
Yeah.
Like he's playing a game.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing in there. So he's able to compartmentalize MMA, especially now he's got a whole load of cash he can fall asleep on at night under his mattress.
Yeah.
It's much easier to separate, but it's a game to be played. And, a knockout is one of the outcomes of playing that game. It happens. We've all been caught. It's just one of those things. And McGregor's, because he's not so attached to it, it can separate it from his ego to an extent, and he can go, you know what, I'm playing this game. Sometimes you're going to lose. You've knocked enough people out. It's going to happen eventually, you know. And I think that realistic, self perspective is part of the reason why it won't really affect him. It's water off a duck's back, as we'd say.
Yeah.